A man was relieving himself in the desert when he stumbled upon a massive chunk of gold right next to him. After thinking it over for a moment, he called over his buddy who was working on their broken-down car nearby. His companion couldn't believe it was real at first, so he pulled out his lighter to test it. When the rock didn't turn black from the flame, they knew they'd struck it rich. The two men immediately grabbed some shovels and started digging. But after a full 24 hours of non-stop digging, they still couldn't see the full size of this golden treasure. Realizing this approach was way too slow, they decided to try hauling the whole thing out. Problem was, the thing wouldn't budge an inch. Next, they figured they'd use their pickup truck to yank it free, but even that failed miserably. The cable snapped and the gold sat there like it was cemented in place. With darkness closing in fast and wild dogs being a real threat in these parts, they had no choice but to build a fire and figure out their next move. After talking it through, they decided one of them should head to the nearest town to rent some heavy equipment and excavator that could actually handle this job. The round trip would take at least 4 days though. The man who'd found the gold got paranoid that his partner might try to keep it all for himself, so he suggested he stay behind to guard their discovery while his buddy made the trip to town. His companion agreed to the plan, leaving him with enough food and water to last 4 days, plus a satellite phone, before taking off for town. Once his partner was gone, the man carefully buried the exposed gold to keep it hidden from any prying eyes. He then built himself a makeshift shelter using some dead branches and somehow made it through his first brutal night alone in the desert. Wanting to make his situation a bit more bearable, he started scavenging for anything useful in the area. After climbing up a nearby slope, he discovered the wreckage of a crashed airplane. It would have made the perfect shelter. The only problem was it sat too far from where he'd buried the gold. Just when things couldn't get more complicated, he spotted a figure in the distance slowly walking in his direction. This should have been his golden opportunity to get rescued, but his greed had completely taken over. Instead of flagging down this potential lifesaver, he chose to hide and watch helplessly as his chance at salvation walked further and further away. At this point, the man's obsession with the gold had overpowered everything else, even his basic survival instincts and fear of dying out there. But then an even bigger crisis hit. A massive, devastating sandstorm came barreling toward him with incredible force. He scrambled into his flimsy shelter, but the pathetic little tent was no match for the fury of the storm. Flying debris and falling branches battered the area, and one of them knocked him unconscious.